Perfect day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, and to all my gender non-conforming people. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to your greatest young show in land. Yes, I said it. This is your greatest young show in land, right here on Keith Ngesi Radio with myself, Baby Obuhle Siwu. And in case you didn't know, now you should know that Keith Ngesi Radio is not your average radio station. We are radio beyond frequency, but most importantly, we are radio according to you, and we're broadcasting live from East London, but we're not limited by the confinements of East London, nor of Eastern Cape, nor of South Africa. We are international. You can listen to us anywhere in the world by simply going to knrapp.co.za. I repeat, that is knrapp.co.za, or follow us on our social media platforms. We are Keith Ngesi Radio on Facebook and Keith Ngesi Radio on YouTube as well. So you go to YouTube, search Keith Ngesi Radio, make sure to like, comment, and share our videos and subscribe as well, so that you can stay tuned and keep up with what's going on in and around the station, man. We love to hear from you. We love to interact with you. So please make sure you engage with us on our social media platforms. We're also available on Instagram. We are KNR official _ we want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts, and we want feedback as to how and where we can improve, as to what it is that we're doing right, because most of the times people are always big on telling us the things that we're doing wrong, but sometimes it's also important to just let someone know when they are doing great and say, hey man, I really love your show, or I listened to your show this one time and this is what happened, so that we know where to improve and how to be better broadcasters moving forward, and how to be better people as well. So please do interact and engage with us. We love that. We are always welcoming of that. We love feedback from Nina, guys, because we love you, right? And we do this not just for ourselves, but also for the people who are listening, so that Nondleke Nani. As you can see from the topic on screen today, I just want to talk about the importance of taking charge and being at the forefront of nation building. Personally, I'm so frustrated. I'm super frustrated with the current state of our nation. A lot is going wrong, man. A lot is just, hey, kunzima uba citizen in South Africa. It's very difficult. I woke up to load shedding. Woke up to load shedding today. Izolo ndileli load shedding. So it's that live. That's how we live now. 12 hours of load shedding. What are we supposed to do? And there's nothing you can do other than complain. Umkile umbane izolo, and that, yes, Sesu Eskom, yes, Sesu Eskom. And my mom looked at me on some, akhona zoyenza, so there's no need for you to shout. You're just wasting your energy. And there's nothing more frustrating than that. Seeing the country go into a state of collapse, if I may say, and not being able to do anything about it. Like, we're hopeless. There's not much we can do. We can only talk about it in our spaces, but that's just it. We only talk about it and no change is going on. So that for me is frustrating. I wonder, what is it that we as young people can do? What is it that we can do as young people to be at the forefront of the conversations around the state of our country, reforming our country, and just making sure that the people who are leading us, the people that are in government spaces, are challenged. They're not just sitting comfortably because young people will not speak out. They're not just sitting comfortably because young people are not doing anything about it. A lot of the people my age, oh, shout out to Pure Ziva. She's saying top of the morning, Pure. I hope you're good wherever it is that you're watching from and wherever it is that you are. So, as I was saying, right, there's a lot that's going on, but there's not much that we can do. And there's not much that we are doing. And even if we are doing something, it's never through the right channels. It's never through the right platforms that are actually capable of impacting change, platforms that are able of say that are able, I mean, and capable of giving us the results that we want. Siakalaza, but we're always complaining on social media. But what is that going to change if we are behind our keyboards on Twitter with hashtags, this must fall, this must happen, but never actually going to challenge the powers that be where they are? We're always at the back of everything that happens. Ingathi yonke into eyenzekayo kuthi ifika nje seyenzekile, decisions are being made, we know nothing about them, we just accept them, and we complain on social media. Oh wow, there's a new bill that was passed. Oh wow, there's new money that was introduced. Oh wow, we have 12 hours of load shedding. Oh wow, there's this, but there isn't anything that we are aware of until it has happened. And when it has happened, there's not much we can do. So I think, as young people, this is my urge to young people to just actively pursue politics. And I know a lot of young people say this, hi, I understand politics and so politics, but politics, to be honest, politics are affecting everybody. They affect thina sonke because decisions are being made on behalf of us. Decisions that influence our livelihoods, decisions that influence the type of futures that we're going to have, decisions that influence the type of job that you're going to get, the type of school you're going to go to, and the dynamics that you're going to experience at school, the politics at the school, or whatever it is. So I think we need to be very active and conscious about the political space, right? We need to be active, and one of the first steps to doing that, I think, would be voting in the next year's elections. A lot of people, when I say that, I'm like, let's go vote. We need to vote. Young people need to start voting, guys. I understand that a lot of us are discouraged. A lot of people don't even know what to vote for because I votela ndoni, imoshakele mos systems avotela ndoni. But the honest truth is that if you don't vote, you're still not doing anything about it, right? You vote so that the people that are in power are challenged. You vote that the people in power know ubana bakhona abantu abayikhathaleleyo ihlobo abarulisha ngayo ikhanda. Because when you don't vote, you're sending out a statement that I don't care. The ruling party can as well continue to rule as they're ruling, but when you vote, you're saying, hey, listen, I am concerned about the matters concerning our livelihoods as citizens. I am concerned about the governance of our country. I am concerned about the governance of our society. I am concerned about the people who rule on behalf of me. So we need to vote next year. We need to vote. I encourage a lot of young people, as many as I can, to vote, because we need to take charge, man. We really need to take a stand and be informed about what's going on around us. We need to be informed about the decisions that are being made and the policies that are being made on our behalf. Because up in South Africa, uthuka into seyisenzeka, uzibuza hayibo bekutheni, njani, xa bekutheni, uzibuza zonke lo mibuzo. And xa sowuzibuza lo mibuzo, there's not much you can do about it. And that frustrates me. Nothing is as frustrating as load shedding right now. It is, hey, load shedding. Indenzela iwari. I'm at the point where ndithi sendihleli endlini and I can feel that umbane is about to go off. When your body is just like used to not having electricity and your mind already knows, but you must not get too comfortable, because at any given point, that's me. I'll be at home on my phone or doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and I'll be reminded, damn, you need to go charge your phone because of umbane. So I'll poorly, you can't be out too long because I need to go cook, I need to go do this. There's not much ease, there's not much rest, and it gets worse when load shedding hits, for example, at 6, and I'm only coming back from work or coming back from a gig or from wherever it is that I'm coming back from. The anxiety you get, because when you go home, it's dark. And already, as a young girl in South Africa, your life is pretty much endangered because you could get raped at any corner. You could get raped anywhere, So xa kufuneka ukhwele eteksini ugodukile, ufike kumnyama. the anxiety that I get, because one, I'm scared for my life. One, I'm scared of what might happen to me. I'm scared of my belongings. Bandizopakwa. If andiphakwanga, I might bump into like amadoda egqitha esitratweni and they may rape me or whatever. You know, all of those tragic scenarios just go in my head and they just run rampant in my thoughts because it's not safe. And with load shedding, it's not safer. Like, it's even intense because it's dark. And I can imagine in other places, like overpopulated places, in other areas, because I'm from Tanzania, right? And sure, sibaninzi but noko i-structure sikhona, but when you go to Okhayelitsha, kwindawo ezinjalo, what happens? Because already kuthe, kuxhifi-xhifi. So how are young girls expected to live in the dark? How are young girls expected to walk in the dark? How are young girls expected to keep up with load shedding? I feel like it's frustrating me. And what's frustrating me even more is the fact that there's nothing we can do about it. We can only be frustrated. There's nothing that we can say. There's nothing that we can do. There's no protest that we can do that really, really is going to change anything. So that's why I am encouraging young people to vote. I'm saying let's vote so that we can challenge the powers that be, so that we can challenge the government, so that the government is not too comfortable with not delivering services, that the government is not too comfortable with not doing their job. A lot of young people are unemployed. In fact, it's not just even that. Just the state of our nation is in shambles, man. Akondi cute, akondi intle. I would go as far as saying we're in a state of collapse because akonto man ingati iyalunga. Zingxaki zininzi, zingxaki qho. Awuyazi noma uqale phi. Uthi xa uqala ubona le ingxaki, gqi enye. Xa uqala uncoma le, kuthi gqi enye. And ingathi siphilela ingxaki nje apha eSouth Africa. And if I'm being honest, that is so frustrating. That is literally so frustrating. We have about 100 schools, most of which are underfunded and overcrowded, some of which have collapsed, and a nameable few, sure, zikhona ezimbalwa izikolo from where I come from that are functional, schools that are working, but most of them are underfunded, they're overcrowded, and some have collapsed. Every year, over 50,000 learners who start grade one do not make it to matric. And it's not because they are stupid, it's not because they're incapacitated, it's not because they're lazy, it's because they're hungry. They live in hostile and violent communities, they don't have textbooks, they don't have dignified homes, they don't have libraries, they don't have conducive learning spaces, they don't have enough teachers, classrooms have collapsed, there's no infrastructures, and some in the Eastern Cape are even surrounded by pit toilets. So, how do you expect children to thrive in those conditions? And this has its own ripple effects. I'm mentioning the school part because it's hectic, but even that has its ripple effects because why are the kids hungry? Their parents and caregivers are unemployed. Uyabona, it's like a chain, it's like a system. Yinto ehambelana nenye. You have kids who drop out of schools because kids who drop out of school, kids who drop out of school because they're hungry. They live in hostile communities, they live in undignified and violent homes. Uyayibona zonto ezinjalo. Xa uzibuza ba kutheni injalo le nto, kutheni abantwana besiya esikolweni belambile, baya esikolweni abantwana belambile because oomama babo abaphangeli, their parents and caregivers are unemployed. You ask yourself, why do these children live in hostile and violent communities? It's because the unemployed look to violence and crime. So yeah, siyakhala ba oh hayi abantwana baphela bechaya ithufu. Siyabuza kutheni e-arean ku-violent because a lot of people don't have. Okay, some people just generally believe in crime. Some people are just criminals. Are quite excuses that can be made, but there are cases and a lot of those instances where people turn to crime because they've lost all hope. They don't have jobs. So if I'm gonna make something for myself, ngizophaka inkunzi. If I want to survive, ndizawuba ndizawuqhekeza, ndizawukwenza zonke ezi zinto, and that is hectic. That is hectic because what kind of nation are we cultivating? What kind of nation are we becoming if that is our reality, if that is the life that we're living? And this is not even a theory or a case study I've read about. It's a real life crisis. I'm not trying to sound smart or anything. For 4 years, yabo, I went to township schools and it wasn't the best experience compared to white counterparts. This is not to say that like scholars that are in the township do not produce quality students, that they are not capable. They are. But what I'm saying is that there is a crisis. There's really a crisis, and we need to be at the forefront of making sure that the powers that be are challenged. And we cannot be singing the same song in 5 years' time. We cannot be singing the same song every year. We cannot be singing the same song. Ucaba ngoku, the song that was sang by the youth of 1976 is the same song that's being sung by the youth of 2014, 2015. Fees must fall. 2021, 2022. Students are still fighting for pretty much the same thing that they were fighting for in 1976. That cannot be the story. For example, right now, where this collapse in the education system and township schools. For example, Paga 7, there are about 2 schools that have collapsed in the area. One school is completely shut down and has been vandalized. It's a junior primary school, so it takes kids from grade 1 up until grade 4. And then the other one has been shut down, nayo kuvaliwe. And this one takes kids from grade 5 up until grade 7. Now, what does this mean? It means that bonke abantwana bahlala kwa-7, all the kids from my area need to go to schools that are in other areas. You know, you have a situation where their parents are not working. Schools in the area, 2 schools that are very important and integral in the schooling system, Sapai area, have to go to school in neighboring area. So uphuma kwa-7 umntanakho, funeka aye kwa-6. You are depending on i-350 oyifumana kurhulumente, naloo 350 ngamanye amaxesha ayingeni. You are depending on imali yegranti. Kule mali, you have to feed yourself, you have to feed your school, you have to your kid, you have to clothe yourself, you have to clothe your kid, you have to make sure that they have money to survive, to buy bread throughout the month. Uyayibona? So akho mali yoba makubekho itransport yabantwana, but abantwana funeka bepatsile baye kwa-6 bahlala kwa-7 because izikolo zakwa-7 zitheni? Ezi-2 zivandalized, azisasebenzi. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? And if kuzaba kwisikolo esi-1, that means that we're going to have an overcrowded school. We're going to have a shortage of teachers because already there's a crisis in our country where there aren't a lot of teachers. So you have overcrowded schools, understaffed schools. Now, what are you hoping to produce if that's the case? What are you hoping to produce? What outcome are you hoping to have? Are you hoping to have quality passes at the end of grade 12? How are you going to get that if umntana koko wayefunda overcrowded? You know, in the decent schools, the Model C schools, you don't get more than 30 kids in a classroom. Why? Because they need to focus on each and every student in the class. A teacher cannot focus on 60 students eklasini, not at like primary school level anyways. That could possibly happen in university because they're trained for that. Now, how do you expect a teacher who's been trained to teach a class of 30 kids to teach 60 students? Yabo. So zininzi man ezi zinto zenzekayo. There are a lot of problems, and our country is just in a state of collapse, man. Not to mention, you know, the mental health crisis. A lot of young people are depressed. A lot of young people are living with crippling anxiety. A lot of young people are living with these mental illnesses, and they don't know where to go to get support. And we have a lot of psychologists that are fresh out of school who don't have jobs, but we have clinics that are understaffed. You know, we have clinics that cannot cater to the mental health for young people, not just young people, nabantu abadala. how are we having health facilities? How are we having health institutions that cannot cater to the entire wellness of abantu? Why do we not have psychologists in schools? Why don't we have counselors, I mean, in clinics? Because Andy, were saying a clinic is a mental, I mean, is a health facility. So if you have a mental illness, where do you go if you want to heal? Where do you go for treatment? Where do you go for help? So we have those things. Just 2 months ago, my cousin was burying a friend. His friend committed suicide. We don't know why he killed himself, but clearly it's something mental. Khona into being frustrated. And there are a lot of young people who are as frustrated. There are a lot of young people who are carrying burdens, who are carrying a lot of baggage and a lot of weight on their shoulders, and they need spaces where they can take off that baggage. They need spaces where they could talk about these things that are frustrating them. So where do those young kids go? Where do those people go when they're in need of help? Where do they go? So this is why I really believe that young people should start taking up charge. Young people should start cementing themselves in spaces that are integral to nation building, in spaces that will impact our livelihoods in the political space even more. Young people should start voting so that we challenge government, so that we could be a collective voice for our struggles, for our needs, and for the services that we need, and maybe we could come up with solutions, and maybe we could just have a structure that is standing, where nothing that happens in our politics, or no policy is made up there without us knowing and without us having had input. So we need to vote next year. This is just an urge. Like I said at the beginning of the talk, that I am frustrated. I'm a young person frustrated. I'm frustrated by the current state of our government. I'm frustrated by the current state of our nation, the current state of my community. Because as much as, the nationwide politics affect me, I'm also affected by the politics in my area before the affect was zonke. So we need to take charge. Singapolini, we need to vote next year. Vote, 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 vote. And if you don't know who to vote for, just vote for whatever um, party you feel that might make a difference. You don't have to vote for the existing national party. You don't have to vote for into as Tile. Just educate yourself. If you feel like you don't know what to vote for, educate yourself. You will find a party that's worth voting for, and educate yourself on how you could contribute to bettering our society. Educate yourself as to how you can contribute to making South Africa better than what it is now, and to just creating a better future, not just for ourselves, but for the people that are coming after us. But yeah, you're still tuned in on your greatest young show in land with myself, Baby Obutisi. With this is Young Purpose, and in 20 minutes' time, I will be in conversation with Uliema Bengo, and we will be talking about Africa Month, celebrating Africa Day with Liema Bengo. So stay tuned, that will be going live at exactly 11:05 here on Facebook and on YouTube. We will be in conversation about celebrating Africa Month, what it means to us to be Africans, and what it should mean to Africans at large, and how we can work together as young Africans, young South Africans, to cultivate and to build better spaces around us for ourselves and for society at large. We will be talking development, how you can develop yourself as a young person and as a citizen of South Africa, so that you can do the work that matters in your own respective spaces, starting from home to your community, and what you can contribute to South Africa at large. So stay tuned, man. Do not go anywhere. And if you're watching broadcast, please do drop a comment. Let me know, where are you watching from? How is your day? How are you feeling also? Are you guys good? I'm good. I'm okay. I'm really okay. I am leaning towards myself when that is concerned. I've really told myself that my joy will not be found in anything or in anyone else but me. So my joy comes from me. It is something that is internal, and it's something that I tap into regardless of the situation around me, regardless of the environment that I'm in. I am choosing joy. And if it so happens that I'm in a dark space, I will actively pursue joy and I'll actively pursue happiness. So that's how I'm feeling, man. I'm joyful. I'm in a good space. I'm very content. I'm calm. I'm collected. I'm also frustrated by just the many things that are going on around our country and around our government. So that's frustrating, but other than that, I'm good, man. I had a really decent week. Spent most of it learning. um spent most of it learning and creating content and just trying to produce and um yeah, just trying to produce content and see what I can make out of my talents. Content that makes people laugh, because I think we are living in really dark times. So it's very important to laugh. It's very important to lean in those small moments that bring us joy and to tap into those spaces that make us feel good about ourselves. So that's what I've been trying to do lately, just cultivate spaces that bring joy, spaces that are safe for us as young people to just exist and be ourselves. I think that's the most important thing, when you're able to be yourself as you are without feeling like you need to shrink because of where you come from, because of what you have, because of what you don't have. So that's what I've been trying to do. Morning, Muhleza. Shout out to Diliza. Diliza Mabodlo. Diliza Mabodlo. Aye, that sounds very profound. Inestima. Diliza Mabodlo. What is that? Is it like a clan name? I don't know. Shout out to Siabonga Gwaka as well. Olwetu Gwanya. Shout out to you. I love this, listening to a young person with such progressive thinking. Diabulela. Thank you so much. It's progressive, but it comes from a place of frustration, to be honest. It's just being frustrated with where we are as a country, with where we are as a nation, with where our government is and where we are as young people. It seems as though we are just letting everything pass us by. Decisions are made on our behalf. We know nothing about them. We only react when those decisions have been made. Sibukele ubomi bethu bu-affectwa zii-decisions ezithathwa ngabantu abaphaa besithi ke bazithathela thina. But you look at those decisions and you're like, really? Is that going to benefit young people? Really, Hulmende, really government? So I think we really need to get to that point where we are progressive thinkers and we don't just think in the now, and we don't just think about the things that affect us in our personal spaces, but things that affect us together as young people, and hopefully work together and form like a collective voice where we can do something about it. Because it's one thing to be a progressive thinker who does nothing. That's what I'm afraid of, that um I can think about these things and I could have the language to articulate myself, but what am I doing also in my spaces? What am I doing in the in the capabilities? Yeah, in my capabilities. What am I trying to do and what am I trying to um achieve with my thinking? Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Please do share this live so that it could reach the right timelines and a whole lot more people can stay tuned to this and they may engage and interact. Like I said, this is your favorite radio station, radio according to you. And this is Young Purpose with myself, Baby Obuhle C Woman. And I'm here from 9 up until the hour of 12. Again, I will be in conversation with Uliyema Bengu at exactly 11:05. We will be talking about Africa Month, what it means to be a young African child, and what we could do as young South Africans, to what work we can do to build our nation and to contribute to creating safe spaces for not just us but also Africans at large. Self-development, the role of self-development in identity, right? We identify as Africans, but what does that mean? And also in our personal capacities as the people we identify as, how can we dibanisa those things? So sabe sithetha ngalondo shortly. Stay tuned. I'll be going live soon. With that said, pow wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what all the fuck is